about that. Not sure what that kernel task, man. It was up to like 400% CPU. Nuts. Um, Introduction to Total CMS 2. Total CMS 2 will be so much cooler than that. Okay. Good joke on the good thing these Codepens are going to be cool though. How about buy a Mac Pro? Yes, Tony. You are 100% correct there, my brother. Man, Mac Pro would solve it all. Okay. So you guys are hearing me? Sound and video are good. Sweet. Thanks, Rion. Sorry about the tardiness, guys. Yeah. Thanks for everyone joining. We'll get started really quick. I got a lot of stuff to talk about today, actually. I have been coding like mad the past couple days, and have some really sweet updates for that are going to get. I'll get my display ready here. So yeah, a bunch of really cool updates. I'm not going to go over everything. I mean, Foundation 6 alone, that update has about, I think it was 38 different bug fixes or new little features. So a bunch of, they're all little minor things, but there's a bunch, right? There's one big one, which I might go over in a little bit. It's just the way menus are built. And if you're having some performance issues in a RapidWeaver project, you might want to, after I ship this update, you might want to rebuild a menu. Yeah. So I guess maybe actually we'll start off with that because that's kind of a big one. I just want to kind of show that what's going on there. Learn a lot. Been working with Isaiah on Stacks 4.1 and performance, and so yeah, the menu stacks are really cool inside Foundation 6. But I'll show you the problem that we ran into that we've never done before because I've never built a UI like this before. And so let me go ahead and launch RapidWeaver. Let me get that ready really quick. I literally just discovered this like a half hour ago. So this is like literally hot off the press. Let's do my little video over there. Oh, RapidWeaver's still launching. For some reason. Weird, it's just bouncing in my dock. Waiting for it. There it goes. Okay. So I'm not going to be opening the spinning beach ball project because I think that was what killed my Mac because I opened that right before I went live. And yeah, that spinning beach ball project that someone sent me, wow, that one is something else. I think I fixed it though. Me and Isaiah together fixed it, which is kind of cool. So let me open up my sandbox project really quick. Is that near Lake Tahoe? Oh, the mountains in the background? I believe these are in Yosemite. I think this is in Yosemite, not too far from Lake Tahoe, the same mountain ranges. The Sierra Nevada mountains, I believe these are taken in. This is just a default OS 10 wallpaper. My goodness. I thought my Mac was happy today, but man, RapidWeaver is. Oh man, look what is going on here. Did kernel task come back to haunt me? Oh, kernel task is back. 485% CPU. That is crazy. 500% CPU. Man, am I still streaming? This is crazy if I'm still streaming and my kernel task is eating up so much CPU. It's pretty nuts. Okay. All right, move this over here. Wow. I froze. Yeah, Donna, I froze. Is not wanting to cooperate today. Jesus. But you hear me. Oh, you can hear me. Okay. I'm good. Glad you can hear me, but my goodness, this is something else. Load average of 126. What? That is crazy. I didn't even know that was possible to get that high of a load on the machine. Wow. I'm just waiting for my Mac to be able to let me do this. Darn it. Things have been going, we're going so good for the past few weeks too. My goodness. Can it be over 100%? Well, it's over 100%, Andy, because I have 4 cores on this machine. I think this is a 4 core, maybe a 6 core. I think it's 4 cores. So technically, you have 400% CPU, right? Yeah, thought you had problems. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's 200% CPU right now, still. So it's using up 2 entire CPU cores, and really not letting much else run. Just kind of nuts. Okay, it seems to have calmed down a little bit now. Let's hope that is better. Oh man, RapidWeaver is like actually usable right now. Okay, cool. Sort of. Okay. Back at it. I think you need a new computer. Yeah, Larry. I'll tell my wife that. All right, let's add in a drop-down menu. Okay. Somewhere. Okay. So, menus in Foundation 6.4.4. The behavior is the same. Sorry, if you want to add a menu. Now, let me just talk about the menu stack in general, right? What's really cool is the menu builder. You can go ahead and just, as you probably know, you can go ahead and build your own menu, right? So if you want to add a submenu to this, you just click the little checkbox and it adds a submenu. And then here you can click the plus button and add another menu item, right? And basically what's kind of interesting is this menu item stack and this menu item stack, they're the same exact stack, right? Now, prior to in the version you guys currently have, hopefully you guys are seeing this. But when you added a submenu, basically when you clicked on this, it added a submenu and then it automatically added one menu item for you. Okay. And when I did that, something happened. And essentially what I did is I inadvertently created an infinite loop inside stacks because I had menu items adding menu items that were automatically adding menu items. And yes, you could turn it off by checking this submenu, this add submenu. But all that did is kind of like hide it from the UI. It didn't actually stop the looping from occurring. Okay. So what happens is behind the scenes, before what, in the current version that is shipped, Stacks would go ahead and try to like infinitely, wow, now it's using 2000% CPU. How is that possible? What was going on is that, essentially I got Stacks in sort of this really huge infinite loop. And for some people in some projects, it was causing some really high CPU loads. So essentially, the fix was pretty simple. At least I think. We're going to be doing some more testing after this live stream with Isaiah. Essentially, is all I did is when you add a submenu, it doesn't automatically add a menu stack for you. So you have to click on this plus button to add a menu item. So a small thing, but huge performance gains just by doing that one thing. Okay. But with that said, even after this update, I don't not 100% sure if this is going to be true or not. I have to verify with Isaiah. Again, this all came to light like literally 30 minutes ago, or about an hour ago now. What may need to happen is it might be recommended that people rebuild a menu. I don't know 100%. Wait for a blog post on Weaver Space. I'll post about it once I have concrete data and recommendations after I work with Isaiah on this. But that is a big one. And so I probably shouldn't be saying this because it literally is like an hour old and I don't have all the solutions. But I'm just trying to be upfront with you guys, right? Okay. So that was actually it looks like a minor change, but it's a really, really big change in Foundation. So yeah, and that only affects edit mode, obviously. So anyway, there are a bunch of other new features inside Foundation 6.4.4, which is coming. Another minor one that I particularly love, can't believe I didn't think about this earlier, the container stack is now at the top of the layout group. Woohoo! I know it seems like a really minor thing, but man, it was always buried in here, and it was just, trying to find it, like, because I use containers a lot. So, and I know a lot of other people do as well. So, yeah, just having container, boom, right at the top, it's going to be super convenient. Really happy about that. So just curious if you guys can let me know in the chat, is this stream usable? Are you guys, understanding me? Is the video coming through at all? Or do we need to postpone this live stream? Let me know in the chats. Okay. Okay. I guess we're okay to go. Okay, cool. A couple other big updates. Okay. Another big update that you probably see on this page right here is to a stack called filters. And my filter stack, it's a really cool stack. If we go to, let me add it, go ahead and add a filter here. Filters allowed you to really easily apply, okay, good. Oh, my audio is still. Okay, well, you know what? I'll turn my audio off or my video off. Actually, you know what? I'm wondering if the webcam is having issues. I wonder if I just do like that. Okay, since my webcam was empty anyway, hopefully that was. Let's see. Oh, looks like I'm back now. Okay, whatever. Okay. Okay, so Filter Pro. What Filter did, if you're not familiar with what Filter is, it allows you to apply some really interesting, cool filters to images. Okay, You can do it for other things. It's primarily for images, but let's just go ahead and drag and drop an image into here. Eventually. I'm back. Cool. At least I know the fix for fixing my my frozen video feed. Apparently it's unplugging and plugging my webcam in. Been meaning to look at upgrading my webcam actually. Hopefully. Wow. Adding an image is taking quite a long time. All right, well, while that's going, I'll talk about the new features that I added to Filter Pro. So there is a new filter backdrop stack, okay, as well as an entirely all new swatches. Okay, so if you're using Foundation 6, there are now a filter backdrop and a Filter Pro swatch, which is really cool. And then on top of that, there's also inside the features, there is a new, where is it? Instagram filters, okay? And if you add this, it just basically gives you a bunch of classes that you can add to all kinds of images or whatnot to apply like pre-done Instagram, copied from Instagram filters. So there's tons of filters here. These are all the classes inside the settings here, and you can easily add all of those or any of those that you want to any image on the page, which is kind of cool. Okay. So I'm not sure why that image never looked, but anyway. The big thing is filter backdrop. Now, it doesn't require Foundation 6. You can actually drag and drop a filter backdrop stack on the page if you're not using Foundation 6. However, since I know a lot of you are using Foundation 6, in this particular demo, I am using the swatches. So here I have a filter backdrop swatch. And what that does is if you notice here inside edit mode, you can see it right in edit mode. This overlay is on top of a background image. So this column has a image, okay? And then the container is on top of it. And if you notice, the container blurs that the image bleeds through, but then it blurs it at the same time, which kind of gives you that frosted glass look, right? This is really, really slick. And obviously, now that we have it inside a swatch, we can apply this same backdrop to whatever we want and have a nice, beautiful effect across our sites. It's really, really elegant. Really happy with it. So yeah, that's a really slick update coming later today. I'll probably ship this. It'll be a free update to existing filters users. There's 3 new swatches, a new filter backdrop stack for non-Foundation 6 users, and then 3 great swatches available. So you have all the power of filters directly inside Foundation 6. So really, really super stoked about the new filter backdrop stack. It works really, really well. It's, as you see, it's beautiful. And you can do all kinds of different settings. Like right now I'm doing the blur, which I think is what a lot of people are going to want to do. But you can make it black and white. You can make it sepia. You can change the contrast and saturation. You can do all kinds of really interesting stuff here. I think what people are going to use it most for is the blur, right? Right now I have like a 20 pixel blur. Let's reduce that to like a little bit less. So let's do like 7. And if you notice when I reduce the blur, it still blurs it, but it's less blurred, right? So it definitely comes through as more static. And here, just to see the default. Oops, what happened to my settings? Go back to my swatch. Scroll down. We take this blur down to 0. That's what it looks like without the blur, right? So it's just straight. The image just completely bleeds through. So yeah, it just adds a much nicer layer of abstraction between the content and the background, right? So blurring that is really, really, really slick. Okay, so that's the new filter backdrop stack. The next new stack, or I guess it's not a new stack, but a big update that I did is to an oldie but a goodie, and it's Floaty. So Floaty is a responsive kind of float stack, okay? So, and it got a complete makeover. So it's been, I guess, Foundation 6, if you want to call it that. So Floaty allows you to basically have a generic area, content area, that you can drag and drop something into, and it will float, right? So that will float, and then the text will float around it. So in this new version, instead of a style text, we're using Markdown on the side because I'm trying to push everyone to use Markdown because it produces such cleaner code, like a lot, right? So we Foundation 6ified this by adding Markdown. It has classes, so you can apply a class to it. We defined some better breakpoints, so you can actually say it's always float, float at medium, float at large. And then you can also then do percentage and static size float areas, right? So this this floated area can be static or percentage. Let's go ahead and I guess I can quickly just add in. Let's just quickly add in an image here. Let's see if my machine will let me do this. Oops, I don't want total CMS. I want Foundation. Add that in there. Let's just go ahead and add an image into there really quick. Let's just add this one. Didn't work. What the heck? Downloads. Whatever. We'll just pick this this live stream image right here. Dragging and dropping is not working too great right now. So add that image, and then in Floaty, we're probably gonna have to add more content into the float area because that's not much content. All right, I'm just gonna add a bunch of text in there. Click on that, and let's go ahead and preview. I should have previewed locally instead of launching Safari, but it's okay. Looks like it's loading pretty quick. Hey, see, as you see here, I have the all of the image here is floated. This isn't in a container. I should have done that. And then the content is floating around it, right? And what's cool about Floaty is that, we can say at mobile, it stops floating, and then the image is 100%, right? So just gives us a little bit more flexible layout options. Oh, look, the bullet list. I need to make sure that those are inside Floaty. Okay. Cool. So again, a minor update, or it was actually 2.0. It's a complete rewrite. Existing instances of Floaty will be deprecated. So you'll see Floaty, legacy version, on existing instances. And then you'll have all new settings, layouts, and all that jazz in the new version. So Floaty's a really nice thing. If you need that floating image, and you can also do left or right floats, right? So you can float the image to the left or float it to the right, and then all your content will float around it. And it doesn't need to be an image. You can add whatever content you want into here, right? So I mean, I just put an image just to be quick and easy, but you can add whatever data you want or stacks to content that you want, and then just to define your widths and gutters for that area. Okay. So yeah, I just did Floaty. Oh, I started it last night. I finished it this morning. Okay. I'm not going to go through any more updates. That was a lot. Sorry, my Mac's really slow. Let's go through and what I wanted to talk about today can be used in a blog post. Yes, you can use blog content in Floaty. So yes, you can. If you're using Total CMS inside HipWig, you actually have the ability to float an image via HipWig. So you can already do that directly. But if you wanted to like use Floaty to do some other different style of layout, you can do that. Okay. I was gonna go to Codepen. So today we're gonna go to Codepen. What's the difference between Floaty and Target? Well, Target is the positioning tool. Floaty, you can do some floats with Target. Target does have a float option. So you might be able to achieve some of what you do in Floaty with Target. You know, but a lot of my stacks there is some overlap. You know, but Floaty is just, if you want that particular layout, it's just a little bit simpler to achieve, right? Because it's kind of done for you. So yeah, there isn't you could potentially achieve that with Target. You know, but Target's really bread and butter is positioning stuff on the page, you know, putting it on the side of the page, or, you know, relative to another stack and stuff like that. That's really where Target shines, and what its core product or feature set is. Okay, so right now what I wanted to look at was Codepen. And if you're not familiar with Codepen, it's just a bunch of web developers around the world have created all these amazing, like crazy amazing code snippets, and they publish them online at Codepen, and you can find out some really cool stuff. Now, just to be warned, there are tons of places where you can find code online. Today I'm just going to look at Codepen, but what I'm going to show today really applies to anywhere. Now, obviously, be careful. A lot of times, stuff on Codepen, it's not thoroughly tested to work fabulous in every single browser. A lot of this stuff is just, hey, I conceptually created this really cool thing. You know, so you know, they don't, obviously there's no warranty, there's no testing involved here, just a lot of really cool stuff. I do get a lot of inspiration from stuff on Codepen, but yeah, you know, let's pick one here. Actually, you know, one I thought was really cool was I actually liked this one. No, it's very abstract, but I thought it'd be fun and something. It's actually pretty simple, the implementation. So if you look here, and if we look at this Codepen, it has HTML, it's just an SVG, some CSS, and then some JavaScript. And what's cool is it just kind of creates this container, and it just does a really cool thing, right? Look at that. I mean, that's just really slick. Now, obviously, what this does is it fills the entire HTML body. That's not necessarily what we want, right? You know, but I love this. This is really slick. So I'm going to take this and we're going to integrate this. I thought this could make an interesting, like, dynamic banner on our page, right? On a header or something like that. So this is just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So let's go ahead and play around with this and see what we can do. So let's go ahead on this page, and let's start by chucking in a container. Okay. Because what I want to do is, let's say I want to make this at the top of our page, and we want to make this like I don't know, 50% height of the browser window or something like that. Okay. And I'm just going to use height 50 VH. Okay, which is the utility class. You make sure that you have utility class on. Okay. Another small thing inside the update that it's going to come out, the height and width swatches no longer get applied inside edit mode. Just because sometimes, while they're useful, sometimes they're extremely annoying other times. So they won't get applied inside edit mode. Okay. So now we need to start adding our code, right? So Foundation 6 comes with some code stacks that are really cool, useful. This kernel process is still eating up so much CPU on my machine. It's nuts. Okay, let's go ahead and add HTML into here. Okay, there's my HTML stack inside the container. Okay. And let's just start off. Let's just go back to Codepen and let's copy that. Where is, did I close the window? Oh no, there it is. Okay. That's just an SVG, but I'm gonna paste this into the HTML. In this particular instance, maybe I could use the SVG stack. I don't know, but I'm just gonna show you kind of generic what we can do. So this is HTML because SVG is an HTML. So let's go ahead and click OK. So now I have my HTML, and now we need to get some CSS and JavaScript. Okay. Let me make it so I can click on that window, so I don't have to. There we go. So now, what the heck? Things just are not going my way today. Okay. Now the CSS for this particular implementation, it actually it has a few styles that we don't want, right? Like here, it actually styles the background. You know, it gives it a particular color that I don't want. I just want everything else. Okay. Now this could be tricky because a lot of you aren't going to know, you know, but you know, there are a lot of times people will style things so that it looks good in Codepen, but not all of those styles will necessarily translate into RapidWeaver properly, right? So let's just show you, right? If I were to go ahead and copy this CSS straight as it was, in Foundation 6, we also have a CSS stack. Let's go ahead and add that to the page. I'm going to double click on that. We're going to paste that in. Okay, and click OK. Okay, and let's just preview this really quick. I'm going to preview inside RapidWeaver so that. Okay, so it made our I'm going to leave this containers here, ignore that. But yeah, if you notice, it made our site background black, right? Which is not what it was, right? So I want to go ahead and remove that. Okay, I'm going to remove the site background. Okay, and the next thing I also noticed is SVG position is set to fixed. That is because he wanted it fixed to the browser window. All right, kind of like the position swatch and what you know, where you can set it to be fixed to the browser. I want it contained within this container, right? So I'm going to set this to be absolute, actually absolute. Okay, and let's just click OK on that. And that really should be all we have to do in the CSS. Okay, so let's preview that now. I previewed it in Safari again. Oh well. Okay, well, nothing's really showing up yet in here, and that's because the brains of this operation of this snippet is all this JavaScript. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this JavaScript. Now, normally with JavaScript, what we do is we go into this tab, and then you can paste JavaScript into the page inspector. However, like I want to keep things encapsulated, right? I want this to kind of like be one encapsulated thing. So sometimes adding stuff to the JavaScript tab can be a little bit annoying. So in this, and I recommend most of the time I tell people to add it there just because it's a good spot. In this particular case though, I want it to kind of live with everything here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add it into the HTML. And the way you do that is by doing little script tags. I'll zoom in and show you this in a little bit. Hold on, let me just paste this in there. Okay, before I close this, if you notice here, all I did is I added a beginning script tag. Okay, so there's a script tag, and then at the bottom, I added a closing script tag. Wow, that is really slow on my machine. So yeah, a closing script tag. Okay. And then your JavaScript goes within it. Hopefully that makes sense. I have no idea if this is going to work because I didn't even test it yet. Let's go preview this. I'll preview it in Safari. Did that work? Shoot. See, I should have tested this beforehand. Haha. But what's the fun of a live stream if it all works, right? Interesting. There's no errors. It requires that page be. Or let's. I'm going to put this, I'm going to implement exactly how it was in there. I'm just going to go ahead and put back in that CSS that I removed. All right, so there's all the CSS that I removed. Let's preview that again. I wonder if it's just my machine being slow, possibly. Oh, there it goes. So as you see, it does work, but it expands the entire size of my browser window. Interesting. Look at that. Boom. Now obviously, like here, let's let me go ahead and hide this stack here. Visibility. Hide. Boom. So interesting. It works out of the box. Like, you know, if it only stopped working because I deleted that CSS code. But check that out. That's pretty slick. What can we use this for? I don't know, but it's really interesting because when you click on it, it kind of reanimates and everything. I thought this would make a really cool header. You know? Let's play around a little bit. The point of this presentation wasn't necessarily to show you this cool animation. It was really to get you to show you, you know, things that we can do. Right. Let's go ahead and actually before I muck around, I could play with this for a long time. Right. But that's kind of cool that we got that working. Let's go ahead and go back to. Oh, let's go find a different demo that we can. We'll leave that tab open. Maybe at the end we'll play around with that other one. Let's add an object to RapidReader too. Oh, project. I want a new page. Oh, maybe a new project isn't a bad thing. Let's start a new project. We'll start from scratch. Okay, so now we have a brand spanking new project. We'll go to site style. We'll add site styles to the page. All right, and let's look. There was one that I thought was kind of cool. Let me see. I forget which one it was. Oh, I wanted to play with this one. I know this one's kind of crazy, but this one is this is cool. This is way above my pay grade. Like, this is nuts. And you can like swipe left and right. This uses something called HTML Canvas. And I'll be honest, Canvas is something I've always wanted to learn how to use Canvas, but I never have. So yeah, this is just really slick. Like, this would be a really cool something. I don't know what it could be, but that is just eye-catching and just like, wow, right? Maybe we should find something a little bit more realistic. Here, let's peruse through, find something a little bit more realistic. The header size may be limiting by the JS math. Good call, Roy. You know what? Again, I didn't even look at the JS there, so it's something we can look at in a little bit. Let's see if we can find like a cool little widget or something like that. Something that's not like really, above. Come on, click on next. How about this? This is kind of interesting. I did look at this one, and particular one, when you hover over a button, it kind of has this little doohickey that has like a little, it animates in and kind of positions itself. If you notice, it animates along with the mouse, like it kind of follows the mouse. And this is really slick, like pretty cool stuff here. So how can we do this, right? So yeah, let's replicate this. Could be a cool one. So I'm gonna chuck in a container, and then we're gonna chuck in a one column just for fun, and add some padding and margin because I like it. Not everybody does. Okay, and then we're gonna add the all the stacks that we need. We're gonna add in the HTML and CSS stacks, as well as the we'll do a script tag. I should probably add a JavaScript stack. I mean, since I have CSS, I should add JavaScript too. Maybe I'll get that out in the update. Makes sense. All right, so I'm gonna have HTML. We'll have CSS. And okay, let's get this HTML. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna Control A, Control C. I'm gonna go in the HTML stack. Paste that in there. Okay, cool. We have two hover buttons. Now, interesting here, because this actually is interesting because there might be some conflicts with Foundation, because Foundation uses some classes to style things, and it styles buttons certain ways as well. So this will be interesting. Now, here's another one where this definitely got some styles that we don't want, right? Like star box sizing, border box, HTML body. Basically, if in Codepen at least, if you see stuff that's styling HTML and body, you definitely don't want any of that. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and select the rest of this. And then I'm gonna put that in the CSS stack. Oh, look, this is styling container too. Oh man, this is using all kinds of styles that Foundation uses. It'll be interesting to see what this does. Okay. So it does that. And then we need JavaScript. And just for easiness, I'm actually going to put the JavaScript over here, so we can kind of look at it a little bit. Can I make that sidebar bigger? You can't make the sidebar bigger right now. Interesting. I think if you do this. If I make it, yes, there we go. In case you didn't know, you can actually have the page inspector like a little separate window. And when it's a separate window, you can actually resize it, which is kind of cool in this instance, because I wanted to resize it. Okay. So yeah, there's our CSS, there's our HTML, and I put the JavaScript to page inspector. Let's preview this bad boy. Did that work? That obviously did not. Oh, there it is. Oh, looks like there's, oh, it kind of works, right? If you look, boop, there's a little funkiness here. And I think that has to do with some of the classes that this decided to use, right? If you notice, this has a div class container. Container is kind of like something that we use in Foundation. So let's do this and do like we'll do this like hover container. So I'm going to rename some of these classes, and I'm going to call this hover button, and then I'm going to call this hover button. Okay. So yeah, and we'll do this hover group. So I'm just changing the classes here. Okay. Let's change that. Now, when I change the classes, I'm going to have to actually go and make sure I update this CSS as well. So, go on, circle, here, container, hover container, hover group, and hover button. All right, let's do that. And oh shoot, I hid the window that I needed. Oops. I minimized that window. How do I get it back? Ha ha. Interesting. Here, bring all to front. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Whew. I never used this window like this, so it's interesting. Okay. Let me see if those classes weren't used in any of these. They were all IDs. Okay, let's preview this again. Some things are slightly off, right? Wonder if I don't put it inside that container, what it will do. Let's dock this. This is bothering me. Okay. So in the container, let's do overflow visible. Let's do that. All right, preview that. Wait, what? That wasn't the one I previewed. Oh shoot, I switched projects. That was weird. So the arrow kind of is a little funky. That isn't. There's some bugs there, but the click kind of works. Right? That's interesting. Right? So you see, I mean, this isn't a perfect. This isn't a, anybody can just copy and paste and it's going to work perfectly sort of thing, right? But I just wanted to give you an example of some things that you can do just with some code, right? Yeah. So as you see, this is pretty cool. If you were to modify this, obviously modify the little click, the text. You can change the colors. Obviously, if you're adventurous, you know that those are classes and you can actually style them with swatches, or just modify that CSS, right? So this isn't an end-all be-all solution, right? In terms of anybody can do it. It would require a little bit of work, but it's not rocket science either, right? As you saw, just by copying and pasting, I did get really, really close, especially this click one. Not sure what's going on with this arrow, but that click one is with the click thing. I like that a lot. That's really cool. Will I ever make a stack out of this? Probably not. Just being honest, right? So that's why a lot of times if you find something that you really like online and you see that you have access to the code, you can give it a shot, right? It's not horrible. I think if you've been around a long enough and you have a little bit of technical sense, I think you can get it done, right? So anyway, hopefully that was a help for today. It was something I just wanted to do, just to kind of show you guys how you could do that. I do think it would be cool if I since I have a CSS stack, maybe we'll create a JavaScript stack, so that we just round out this this set of code stacks in Foundation 6. So yeah, Pretty cool stuff. So any questions? I know, here, actually, I want to go back, while we have a little bit of time. I really wanted to get this, this little doodad, this little doohickey working in a header, right? So, let's go ahead and change some of this CSS a little bit here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to delete that, that, and I'm going to do this, position absolute. Click OK. And actually, I am going to set my site background to be a dark color just so it looks the same. But I didn't want to have that CSS do it, so I'm going to do it right here inside site styles. Let's set to be dark blue. Okay, and let's look at that JavaScript code really quick. So he has colors: gold, hot pink, medium spring green. So you see he's here. Let me see if I can. There we go. Zoom in a little bit for you guys. So then he's just he's got a for loop that's creating a bunch of stuff, creating a bunch of SVGs actually, which is interesting. Function remove all SVG first tile, remove first tile, click, draw circles. Oh, here he's, okay, he's creating a bunch of paths, a circle paths, and then adding them inside the SVG. Interesting. Okay, I see what the code's doing. Okay. And he's adding 15 of those into the circle. Okay, pretty interesting stuff there, actually. That's kind of cool. So circle create, a circle, got it. I don't think you have to have the namespace, but it's okay. That should work. Let's preview that. Okay, so here let's go into stacks top. Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. Okay, so hold on one second. I'm going to set this container be interesting. That could be a bug I need to make sure I fix before I send out today's update. Set that to auto. Oh, we're getting there. Now it's interesting. It doesn't go past that container. There we go. That works, right? And then if we, obviously, you know, I'm restricting it to only be 50% height, right? But here, let's change this a little bit. I'm gonna do BG black. I'm gonna do a black header, and then inside site styles, I'm gonna change my site background to be white again. Preview. That'll give us an effect of that header, right? So there we go. On page load, it just kind of redraws, right? And that's really, really slick. I like that. I mean, it's just random and dynamic. But yeah, it's really cool. something very different. And I will have to look at this container, why it wasn't working when the container wasn't set to auto. I'll definitely look at that before I ship the update today. But yeah, this is a perfect example. I actually didn't do much modification to get this working, right? I removed one line of CSS and changed the position fixed to be position absolute, but that was really it, right? So yeah, pretty cool. I'm happy with that. And I'm frozen again, apparently. Hopefully that will... Okay, I'm visible now. Cool. Looks like I am. Okay, sorry for the troubles today, guys. Man, that kernel task is still eating up 400% CPU right now, which is nuts. It's completely crazy. So hopefully I'll figure that out today, right after this live stream. Hopefully you got a little bit out of today. Sorry if the performance is a little bad, but hopefully you got a little bit out on how you can kind of find things and copy and paste them into RapidWeaver and start playing around a little bit. For the entrepreneurial minded out there, because please don't ship. You can definitely do that. There are stacks made out there that have been shipped that are purely based on a copy of something someone found on Codepen. But like I said earlier, okay, the stuff on Codepen not necessarily has been tested on every browser or works perfectly, right? So if you don't fully understand what's going on, please don't ship a product because users will buy a stack because they think it looks really cool in your demos, and then they have some issues and they send you an email request button thing, right? I have a lot of other things to work on. So if you feel like you need to do that, please go ahead and do that. I think this banner one's pretty slick. I like that. But again, please make sure that you understand everything, because I can't tell you how many times I've gotten an email or message, or some other advanced stack developers that I know get emails because someone shipped a product that they have no clue how it actually works, right? They just knew how to copy paste and kind of maybe change some things and figure things out, which is awesome. And it's a great place to start. But please make sure you understand. So I'm going to get off my soapbox on that topic. It's just something that I just popped into my mind right now, just after building this stuff. These could totally be made out of stacks, but it is just CSS and JavaScript and tweaking stuff. But please make sure you know what you're doing. Okay. So yeah, let me see if there's any questions. Unrelated, major Adobe outage today. Okay. Interesting. I'm not really an Adobe user. I use Adobe stock, and Adobe fonts, but that's about it for me. Is there a tutorials on the utility swatch? Yes, there is, Roy. There are 2 videos on the utility swatches, and those are on the foundation page, or you can also navigate and find them on my YouTube channel. But there's 2 of them. Also, if you go to the little help widget down on the bottom corner of my site, or on the community, just search for utility stack or utility classes, and it'll probably come up the video right there. That little search box, that little help box is really, really powerful. It searches not only all my FAQs, but it searches all my YouTube videos as well. So pretty cool stuff. Nice. My son's watching the live stream. That's probably why. That's hilarious. So demo 2 launched in 45 minutes. Nice. Let's see. Any other preview in RapidWeaver? Sometimes you don't pop out of edit. It won't update the browser. Oh, interesting. So Brett is saying that sometimes if you use the pop out preferences, it doesn't update preview. Interesting. Didn't know that. Like I said, I hardly ever use that feature. So interesting. Cool. Well, thanks for joining back in, Egbert. I appreciate it. I think we're closing up today right now, though. If there's any other questions, let me know. Else, I'll see you over on Weaver Space. And hopefully everyone has an amazing day. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.